1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Whether you realize it or not, after these just 7 seconds, you've already calculated your judgment of me. You didn't know you were, and you didn't mean to, but your subconscious mind was done before you could even realize what was happening. You see, just like our hearts are always beating, our subconscious mind is always operating, whether we asked it to or not. We have the subconscious mind to thank for our ability to quickly react on instinct. It's the reason we pull away when we touch a hot pan, or duck when something comes flying our way. However, despite these at times life-saving instincts, the subconscious mind is also to blame for our inability to not judge. This part of the mind comes pre-programmed with biases, opinions, and ideas that we don't even know we hold, called unconscious biases. Today, as we ask ourselves, are we there yet? We must examine how unconscious biases have hindered progress in the past and continue to stifle achievement today. Unconscious biases not only impact our day-to-day decisions and actions, they more or less run the whole show. According to Dr. Marwa Azab, professor of psychology and PhD in neuroscience, you can think of the brain as a dual processor, meaning it consists of 2 cores. You have the logical conscious system and the unconscious reactionary one. The logical system is intentional, purposeful, and voluntary. Using it makes us feel as if we are in control. However, in order to function, it requires time and effort, something that we don't like to give. The unconscious system, on the other hand, is irrational, impulsive, and reactionary. It is typically recruited because, unlike the conscious system, it is fast, easy, and effortless. But to our disadvantage, this part of the mind operates based upon unconscious biases, resulting in the making of split-second but lasting judgments based on purely superficial factors such as race, gender, attractiveness, or any other distinctive traits. These judgments have time and time again impaired our ability to progress to a unified society. So at this point, there's a good chance you're thinking, there's no way I hold these unconscious biases. How can something be so detrimental, yet go so unnoticed? The implicit association test, or IAT, was specifically formulated to reveal the existence of unconscious biases within all of us. So in order to test for a bias, you would be asked to sort pictures and adjectives into 2 categories. For example, say you want to test for a bias in weight. You're first asked to sort positive adjectives with images of thin people, and negative adjectives with pictures of overweight people. Simple. Well, then it takes a twist. You're asked to do the opposite, sorting the positive adjectives with the pictures of the overweight people, and the negative ones with the pictures of the thin people. More often than not, this time takes substantially longer, and much more mistakes are made. Why? Because despite telling ourselves, there is no way I feel this way, despite knowing very well the importance of equality and acceptance, our subconscious mind doesn't. And implicitly, we may act on the very judgments we chastise others for having. For further evidence of this, take this telling study of science facilities in US universities. The staff there were each asked to rate a student's application for a lab manager position. Every participant was given an identical application, except for gender. Yet results found that participants were much more likely to rate the male candidate as more hireable and more competent than the female. Furthermore, they were willing to give the male a higher starting salary and desire to invest more in the ongoing progression and development of the male rather than the female. Even more shocking, female participants themselves were found to hold the same results, showing that unconscious biases can live within any and all of us. So as you can see, there are numerous statistics and studies that can prove the presence and prominence of unconscious biases. However, what a lab report cannot convey is the detrimental effect of these biases on every aspect of our society and our humanity. An alarming amount of the social issues we struggle with today are deeply rooted within unconscious biases. This cognitive function originally arose in the distant past as a means of survival. It helped split the world into friend or foe, ally or enemy, fight or flight. Because back then, sparing a single moment was the difference between life or death. But now, they act as the ceaseless and ever-present barriers between us. They force upon us an overly simplified perception of the world. Because of unconscious biases, speed and ease, they are used by our minds as a cheat sheet of sorts. A quick guide of who to love and who to hate, based on an easy-to-spot characteristic. However, by using this cheat sheet, we impair our ability to build goodwill and even better friendships. Because of unconscious biases, we can go from not knowing someone to not wanting to know someone in just 7 seconds. Unconscious biases allow us to limit someone to a preconceived notion of them and determine their value before they even speak a word. So after learning the detrimental effects of these biases, we are obviously left asking, how do we get rid of unconscious biases? These unconscious biases that seem to dictate our every move. Well, realistically, we can't, because that would involve reprogramming our entire minds. However, what we can do and what we must do is reflect on ourselves. Ask ourselves, what are the biases that I hold, and more importantly, the biases I need to lose? Once we can spread awareness of this issue and acknowledge that it is an issue, we can begin taking the necessary steps to heal the divide it has caused in our society. Nobody is expected to stop making these judgments because that's natural. However, what we can do is backpedal. Ask ourselves, why did I make this judgment? And is it remotely valid? In addition to reflecting on ourselves and improving our own subconscious minds, we can also take the necessary measures to prevent these harmful biases from entering the next generation. This can be done through multiple ways, such as a reform in children's media, since as of now it is a breeding ground for unconscious biases. In addition, we can raise children in diverse and accepting environments to allow unconscious biases to be disproved before they can even be made, and prevent their hold on society. So the next time you're faced with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds, don't let them be 7 seconds of negativity, of cruelty, of hate. Let them be 7 seconds for good. Thank you.